Hello everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Conrail. We're going to talk about Conrail. Did Conrail really end in 1999? The answer is yes and no. It seems that a lot of people forget about Conrail Shared Assets. Now that is a different company other than Conrail. So there's actually two different Conrails. The original one that the government owned and formed to bail out failing and bankrupt railroads like Central Jersey and Penn Central and Reading. And also, so when they decided to sell Conrail in 1999, well, it wasn't because it was failing. It was a very successful railroad. The government actually did not want to be in the railroad business anymore. They needed funds for another project, so they decided to sell it. And it was a profit-making railroad. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But, so when is the exact date that Conrail was actually split between two different railroads, which we'll talk about, and then became a second Conrail? Out of that split, why was there a second Conrail formed? And we'll get into that video. But first, I want to mention that Morning Sun Books has made a wonderful book about this called CSAO, Conrail Shared Asset Operations. And they go into a lot more depth than what I'm going to go into in this video. But at any rate, before I continue with this video, however, I would like to say that you guys see me harass Walt Herbine from the Train Shop Weekly about how Conrail took over Reading and patched everything. And he loves Reading, and he's not a Conrail person because of the what Conrail did, but I can understand. But, you know, I harass him all the time. And, you know, I took over his train one year, just of cars, and another member of the North Penn loaned me his Reading locomotives, and I did a Conrail takes over Reading in, I don't know, one year during the Run for Fun open house on the old train farm. So that was a cool run. I had fun doing that. I actually took pictures of Walt's Reading locomotives on the wall, and then held on to those photos, and then, I don't know, probably like, I played a prank on them, like I waited a few weeks, and then I posted, hey, I'm getting ready to patch Walt's Reading locomotives into Conrail. He thought that was for real, that I was actually in the, you know, at that time, but he didn't realize those photos were how old they were. So he actually called up Harry Henning. Hey, is Sean really over there? No, he's not there. So, yeah, so we played back and forth about Conrail versus Reading. I want to make one quick note, though. Me and Walt, we actually get along. There's people who think, especially in the beginning, that we were actually fighting with each other. To the point that there was members of one group that me and Walt are admins of, actually turned us into the head admin, saying that, you know, I think these guys are fighting, and they had to actually tell them, no, they're joking around with each other. I guess people are not used to seeing, you know, people joking around, so we backed off on that a little bit, but now people realize that, yeah, we get along together, we're just friendly rivalry, and that's one of the great things about the relation me and Walt has. You know, people don't realize, I guess, because I'm more public about teasing him, and he's more behind the scenes and messengers and stuff, teasing me back, but he has admitted to teasing me back. So we go back and forth, but we're friendly about it. And so I hope this is sort of like a model for those out there who take this model train stuff way too serious, and they actually have real fights and spats about meaningless stuff. So I gave you an example here. Me and Walt are actually total opposites. Walt likes MTH DCS. I like Lionel Legacy. Walt likes Reading. I like Conrail. So there's a few things that we're like totally opposites on, but we get along great because we respect each other's decisions and we don't try and force each other into liking our stuff. And we also allow our own opinions about certain things without getting upset over it. It's like, okay, you don't like this, that's fine. Basically, we have the attitude, we don't push our opinions and ideas on each other, and we respect our own ideas and opinions. And so that's how we work it. And that's how we get along. Now, there's a special reason why I'm mentioning Walt Herbine in this video, but you'll have to stay tuned a little bit later. So Walt thinks that I'm not going to make this video. I'm pretty sure he's thinking that. So when did Conrail actually end? The original Conrail that was formed in 1976. And Walt's going to Google that and tell us. Here you go. Okay, Walt, when did Conrail end?
June 1st, 1999.
That's the date.
That's the date. See, it's coming around. It's knocking at the doors.
Now, did Conrail really end June 1st, 1999? In a way it did, in a way it didn't. So let's get into that. So Conrail was actually split up between Norfolk Southern and CSX, which is why I'm wearing a CSX shirt. So Walt and others say, yeah, Conrail became black, meaning it became Norfolk Southern, but that's not totally true. It was actually split between CSX and Norfolk Southern. So some Conrail became blue, or red, that's on my shirt now, or became Norfolk Southern, one or the other. Now, Norfolk Southern was able to retain the CR reporting mark, while CSX retained the NYC reporting mark for Conrail equipment. So anything that CSX got that was Conrail, they actually would patch out the CR and put NYC on it if they weren't going to totally repaint that freight car. So anytime you see a CSX freight car that has Conrail still on it, you'll notice, if you pay attention, it'll have the reporting mark at NYC because that's a Conrail unit that belongs to CSX. And if it's a Norfolk Southern Conrail, ex-Conrail freight car, it'll still have the CR reporting mark on it. So there was a second Conrail that was formed in 1999, and we'll get into the reason why here in a minute. It was Conrail Shared Asset Operations. So why does many people not know about this particular railroad? Well, because Conrail Shared Asset Operations does not have their own locomotives. I'm pretty sure if they did, that people would be rail fanning them and seeing them on video. So CSAO, Conrail Shared Asset Operations, actually leases locomotives from either CSX or Norfolk Southern. They do not have their own locomotives. And we'll get into more in-depth in that here in a moment. So Conrail Shared Asset Operations, commonly used name for modern day Conrail reporting mark CRCX. It's an American railroad company. It operates 3 different networks: the North Jersey, South Jersey, Philadelphia, and Detroit shared assets areas. It serves as a local contract carrier and switching company for its owners, CSX and the Norfolk Southern. So that's where the shared assets comes in. So it's owned by CSX and Norfolk Southern, even though it's still a separate sort of company called Conrail Shared Assets. It's kind of weird how they set this up, but you'll see more of where how it's set up and the operations works here in a moment. When most of the former Conrail's tracks was split between these 2 railroads, the 3 shared asset areas, which is about a total of 1,200 miles of track, were kept separate to avoid giving one railroad an advantage over the other in those areas. The company operates using its own employees and infrastructure, but owns no equipment outside of MOW equipment. So you'll still see Conrail rail trucks, track crew trucks that still have Conrail names on them. Even in my area, there's Conrail tracks down here that are still considered Conrail owned. And you'll see actual trucks that still say, even to this day, Conrail, have the Conrail name on them. So it's kind of cool. Conrail Shared Assets utilizes locomotives that are supplied by CSX and Norfolk Southern. In a way, I wish they did have their own locomotives. I think that would be cool if Norfolk Southern or CSX decided, okay, let's give them their own paint job and have CSAO on them. And if they did that, I sort of made up my own rendition of what that locomotive may look like. And again, it's my own rendition, so don't beat me up too much. Don't beat me up too much over the photo that I created. But here's the artwork that I came up with if CSAO had their own locomotive. And you'll notice in this picture that I decided to get away from the actual can opener logo, because technically the reason for that would be because it's actually another Conrail company that was formed. So basically, I think, my opinion, that it would be to get away from a can opener and create a whole new logo. So you'll see the CSAO name on it. And I decided to put a moving forward arrow in white in place of the can opener. Since CSAO makes all the deliveries for NS and CSX, so the CSAO, the logo, in my mind, would mean always moving forward with deliveries. But that's just, again, a rendition. There's no such locomotive or motto like that I know of. Just something that I came up with. So as I mentioned, there were actually two companies named Conrail. The first created by the U.S. Congress as part of the federal effort to restructure the assets of bankrupt northeastern railroads. And then the so-called Conrail split generated a new Conrail called Conrail Shared Asset Operations, a neutral terminal switching railroad owned jointly by Norfolk Southern and CSX, with operations northern New Jersey, south New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Detroit. On another note, Conrail took bankrupt and failing railroads in 1976. They took them over, and by 1981 they turned everything into a profit-making railroad, and that was a pretty good feat. So here's some interesting information about CSAO. CSAO operates as a cost center. It performs car switching and yard classification work for its two owners, Norfolk Southern and CSX. It does not bill the shippers or participate in the waybill. Strictly speaking, it serves as the railway local operating agent for its two owners. Train operation primarily covers just under 500 miles of track in the northern New Jersey region. That is part of the New York City urban area, plus another 375 or 370 miles of track in the southern New Jersey, Philadelphia metropolitan region, and 360 miles of track in Detroit. Conrail Shared Assets continues to do business even to this day in the three division operating areas that I've mentioned. The old Conrail remains a jointly owned subsidiary, with CSX having 42% of the stock and Norfolk Southern having 58% of the stock. Each railroad, however, has an equal voting interest. The primary asset retained by Conrail is ownership of the 3 shared asset areas in New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Detroit. Both CSX and Norfolk Southern have the right to serve all shippers in these areas, paying Conrail for the cost of maintaining and improving trackage. Since Conrail was divided between Norfolk Southern and CSX in 1999, all remaining locomotives have been successfully repainted and many remain in service. Now the good news is that Norfolk Southern did make a Conrail heritage unit, so it looks just like it's in Conrail colors, so I'm glad they did that. To mark its 30th anniversary, Norfolk Southern painted 20 new locomotives with paint schemes of predecessor railroads. The first, on March 15th, 2012, was a GE ES44AC number 8098 in Conrail blue with the can opener logo. That's cool stuff. I'm glad they did that. Now, I don't know how many of you actually read or watch the railroad news, but I believe it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago to this video. It could be even longer by the time I posted this video, but who knows. But let's just say, 3 weeks ago, CSX did announce that they were going to make a Conrail Heritage Unit 2. Not sure what it's going to look like, but I'm pretty excited to see what they come up with. So, in reality, the original Conrail ended in 1999, but a new one formed in 1999 as well, all on the same date. So, now we get to why I mentioned Walter Herbine. So, at a Run for Fun event, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not exactly sure. Walt would know. He's more or less a historian. And he's better with dates than I am. But he presented me with this. Because I'm always busting his stones about patching Reading locomotives into Conrail. So what he's done here is he took a Lionel GP9 dummy unit and he sprayed it in a way that it's becoming a Norfolk Southern unit to bust my stones back. But he made me promise that I would never throw it away. And when you get a present or a gift from a friend, you don't throw it away. No. So, Walt, yes, I still have it. It's still with me. It did not get thrown away. Keeping my promise. Here you go. Still have it. So he was a little disappointed I did not make my Conrail celebration video. And the celebration video was focused on the beginning of Conrail, not the end. So here's a photo of it, of his handy-dandy paintwork, spray paintwork, of the Conrail GP9 becoming a Norfolk Southern unit. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how one Conrail ended and another Conrail was actually formed in the same day. We'll see you guys later. I'm going to play a video that I've done about a year or so ago of Conrail shared. I did a Conrail shared asset operations here on Conrail before ending up selling off those things. So I will play that video and let you guys see a run of that. And what I did is pretty much I did what Conrail shared assets did. I made end deliveries. So, and we'll catch you guys later trackside.
Dispatcher, take the green. Over. Acknowledged. I got green. Down.
Our crew today aboard the Conrail Shared Assets train in the engineer's seat is Charlie Reinbach, originally from Boston. He's from the Boston area. And for the conductor, we have Fred Windsor, originally from the Philadelphia, South Philly area. And we're on our way now. The crew's taking the train to the first stop at Crystal Ice. The crew now approaches Crystal Ice and need to slow down to cut some cars to switch out some reefers to reload with ice and put the empties back in the siding for them to load more product.